I'm Roland Martin. Welcome to Believe, the Barack Obama story. In the nation's capital, presidents leaving a mark on history are honored with monuments, memorials, and statues. However, many in this nation and around the world did not believe in the ideal that any American from any background could realistically aspire to become president of the United States. But in the unforgettable election of 2008, Barack Obama was able to overcome all of these doubts and make history, becoming the 44th president of the United States.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President. All the best wishes.
We are proud to present Believe, the Barack Obama story. The story of Barack Obama has many destinations along the way to the White House, but it all begins in Hawaii, 2,000 miles from the mainland, the 50th and last state to join the United States of America. Hawaii is one of the most multiracial, multi-ethnic, and multicultural places on Earth, with a long history of tolerance and respect for diversity.
I was raised in a number of different places. Hawaii was one place, which is where my parents were. My father was from Kenya, my mother was from Kansas. They met at the University of Hawaii, where they were both studying.
In the late summer of 1959, a promising foreign exchange student from Kenya arrived in Honolulu to attend graduate school at the University of Hawaii. He made quite an impression on one of his grad school friends, Neil Abercrombie, now a veteran member of Congress from Hawaii.
He just lit up every room, every place that he came to. He was an incandescent person, but he took command over everything. He had an opinion on everything. It wasn't off-putting in any way, because he was so full of energy. He was full of life. He could interact with everybody because it never occurred to him that he couldn't. Of course, we ended up mostly in social circumstances, drinking beer, eating pizza, listening to jazz, and pontificating to one another. And he was right in the center of it. At one of these gatherings, Barack brought Ann Dunham in. She was scarcely out of high school. I believe she was about 18 then, might have been 19. She fit in right away with the very eclectic group of students and graduate students. She observed, I would say, more than spoke, but that also had to do with her character, her personality. She was much more reserved than Barack Sr. was.
She was one of the hardest working people I've ever met. She seemed to effortlessly get an enormous amount of work done, never seemed hurried or flustered. She was just outstanding as a student and as a person. And I think this is the way Barry grew up, knowing you had to work and help people.
I don't recall whether there was ever an announcement that they were going to be married, but then they appeared one day and they were married. I think they had gone to Maui to get married and had a brief honeymoon. They were students after all. I remember after he was born, of course, here was this beautiful baby. He was a beautiful child. Barack was quite proud. His father left soon after his birth for the mainland to go to school, to continue his studies, and at that point it became clear that Ann would not accompany him. She and Barack Jr. would stay behind. He was a calm child, always had a smile on his face, playful and joyful. He was truly and deeply loved by his grandmother and his grandfather, and his grandfather went everywhere with him. There is no doubt that his father may have been absent, but there was a male figure in his life, in his grandfather, that I think helped to give him the kind of character that he has today. His grandmother is a remarkable story, a remarkable woman, one who set very, very high standards. She was very persevering, very, very smart, very, very tough. She was seen as a standard bearer for women at the time.
When Barack Obama Jr. was 6 years old, his mother married another foreign student, Lolo Soetoro, who moved the family to his homeland of Indonesia, where Obama's sister Maya was born. While there, he made friends at school and learned to appreciate Indonesian culture, but struggled with the language. His mother woke him at 4 a.m. each morning, which gave him the foundation for his future academic success. After 3.5 years, Obama's mother decided to send him back to Hawaii for a better education opportunity at an elite prep academy.
I met Barry on the first day of 5th grade. He was somebody who always had a very big personality. He was always smiling. He was somebody that everybody liked and everybody responded to. Even in 5th and 6th grade, you could tell that he was a special person.
I had him from September of '75 until he graduated in June of '79. So that was freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. He was very articulate, he spoke well, he wrote well. He never got in trouble, not that I recall. He never got any interims. He was very polite. People were sort of gravitated towards him. He was very charismatic then. People have asked me, well, did you ever think he'd be president? No, but I knew he would be successful.
During his high school years, Barack Obama developed a lifelong passion for playing the game of basketball as a proud member of the Punahou varsity basketball team that won a state championship in his senior year.
I best got to know him when we were playing grade school basketball. He could bring it, but you know, was always within the game, and to see him rise to such heights is just, it's been amazing. But it's not something that I would say that, you know, wow, I never thought he was capable of that. He definitely was capable of that. He had an intellect and just a worldliness that, you know, really stuck out, and just his engaging personality would just make you feel very welcome.
Barack Obama graduated from high school in 1979, and he was now ready to leave the island home that shaped his core values.
He is the American dream. What he was able to do and what his family sacrificed, it just really shows that things are possible, and it's not just, you know, saying you can be anything you want, but really seeing somebody achieve that. If you were going to bet on somebody from that just by their bio, he would have been somebody that you probably would have overlooked. But what you would have overlooked is his heart and his character. And that's what we saw back then. That's what I see now.
With his mom's encouragement and carrying her pioneering spirit, Barack Obama decided to attend college on the mainland, enrolling at Occidental College in Los Angeles for 2 years and later transferring to Columbia University in New York City, a prestigious Ivy League institution. There he developed more self-discipline and concentrated intensely on his studies, pursuing his strong interest in politics and international affairs. He graduated with honors in 1983. After college graduation, Barack Obama headed to Chicago to become a community organizer, saying he wanted to organize folks at the grassroots for change. Chicago was at the forefront of black politics in America, the home base of many African-American leaders. As director of the Developing Communities Project, Obama worked in low-income areas in the heart of Chicago's South Side.
The African-American community in Chicago is a wonderful community. There's a very strong tradition of a black business community that is vibrant and working hard, and they've been extraordinarily helpful to me.
Well, I first met Barack Obama about 23 years ago. He had just been hired as a community organizer for the Developing Communities Project. Barack came in to our meetings one by one. He sat down with every pastor individually, and then Barack would ask us, what do you think is important? How do you see the issues? And he would listen, and then he would pull all of us together, and we would, each of us, express our ideas and our opinions, and quite literally, he would just write them down on a blackboard and say, now, which one of these can we most agree on?
It was a wonderful opportunity for me. I had a great education working with church groups and unions, and we set up job training programs and after-school programs for youth. And as a consequence, I think, grew up and became a man in that work. And I also learned that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they're given an opportunity. So ever since that time, not only have I been interested in public service, but I've always been interested in how do we bring more people into the process and get them more involved.
When Obama started as a community organizer, the first thing that you're taught is that before you can lead, you have to actually listen. That the secret to being able to lead and inspire large numbers of people is to know what they need change in their life. It's a very powerful skill for the most powerful person in the world to have, and it's what makes him different from so many others.
Barack was able to get a jobs training center established in the heart of the economic district. And so those who had lost jobs in steel mills could be retrained and then sent back into the marketplace to fill the available jobs.
If you work in communities, you learn about people. You learn not only what their real problems are, but you also learn about how to bring them together to accomplish an aim. What being a community organizer, I think, also teaches people is how to do a lot with a little.
You know, I know that my commitments to the community in terms of jobs and healthcare, education, those are commitments that have been a constant. The ebb and flow of attention or press is something that is nice, but it's not something that I count on.
Be strong and have courage in the face of our doubts and fears, in the face of our cynicism, in the face of our skepticism, in the face of a mighty river. Be strong and have courage, and let us cross over that promised land together. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Believing that he could do more for his community by continuing his higher education, Barack Obama entered the prestigious Harvard Law School in 1988.
The first time I saw Barack Obama, though, made an indelible impression on me. I decided to go on from Harvard College, Harvard Law School myself. And in September 1990, Barack Obama was one of the orientation speakers at Harvard Law School.
Barack and I first met at Harvard Law School. The funny thing about Harvard Law School is that the library is full, but the gym is empty. And I was playing basketball, and in walked this tall, skinny guy named Barack Obama. For the next 3 years, we virtually played ball all the time. At Harvard Law School, the basketball gym is right next to Harvard Law Review. When he had a little respite or opportunity, he'd go over to the gym. I looked up to him, not just because he's taller than I am, but also because he had been out in the workforce for 5 years. He'd already been doing public service. He was someone that was in graduate school that knew why he was there.
In his second year, he received national media attention by becoming the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review.
He was the best student, the best in terms of scholarship, and the best in terms of his ability to rally other people to support his candidacy for president of Law Review.
After his years at Harvard Law School, graduating magna cum laude, Barack Obama was among the very best and most sought-after law school graduates in the country. He received a book contract to write his memoir, Dreams from My Father. When he got back from Chicago, Barack Obama met the future love of his life, a Southside Chicago native, Michelle Robinson. She was his mentor at a corporate law firm where he worked as a summer associate during law school. Although he was not interested in corporate law, Barack was very interested in Michelle. After refusing to go out with him for a month, Michelle finally agreed to go out for dinner, and they soon fell in love. In October of 1992, Barack and Michelle were wed by Reverend Jeremiah Wright at the Trinity United Church of Christ. His daughter Malia was born in 1998, and Sasha was born in 2001.
We grew up in a little bitty apartment on the south side of Chicago. My father had a severe disability. You know, no silver spoons, no magic, just parents who tried their best to give the next generation something a little bit more. We were taught that we have to work hard and then give back. You know, we have an obligation to help others. You know, so much of who I am is grounded in that upbringing. When I connected with Barack and realized I could marry this man, it was because I saw the same thing in his upbringing that I saw in mine. And I got married to a person that I respected, and we worked hard to raise a good family and teach them good values. And we built our lives around service and giving back and foregoing big salaries.
In 2007, February, Ebony featured Michelle and Barack Obama on our February issue, which is our Black Love, Black History annual issue, and really the most popular issue during the year. And that year we had enough foresight to feel like Michelle and Barack were the perfect couple to personify Black love.
We learned how to sustain our relationship at a distance, which is why carving out that time, making sure we have Friday or Saturday date nights, and making sure that it's not just going to a movie, because you can't talk at a movie, Roland. We usually go out to dinner, and what I found, which is interesting, is that our girls like it. They like the fact that they know that we love each other.
They see intimacy.
That gives them security. So sometimes you lose sight of that when you think, well, as long as we're taking care of the kids are okay. Well, the kids want you to have a life together. They want to know that my mother and father love each other, and if they love each other that much, they're going to love me. People are relieved to see themselves reflected in us. Our family story, me, Barack, our girls, is comforting to many people.
Once I started to see the two little girls in the picture, I realized that, look, this is a first family that America truly deserves.
After settling into married life, Barack Obama believed he was ready to serve his community as a political leader. During Barack Obama's early years in the Illinois State Senate, Republicans dominated the state legislature, and as a Democrat, he became frustrated in his limited role.
Well, I had suggested when he first came to the Illinois Senate, if you want to be successful in this body, get to know people who don't look like you or come from a different region of the state. And he did that quite well in the Illinois Senate.
In the year 2000, he made the fateful decision to run for the U.S. congressional seat held by longtime popular incumbent Bobby Rush. Folks, in a tough campaign, he was attacked as an outsider and an elitist from an upscale neighborhood.
Barack was running against Bobby Rush, who is an authentic hero of the civil rights story in this country.
When Senator Obama told me that he was planning to run for Congress against Bobby Rush, I did point out that running against an incumbent congressman is never easy.
I found out, through the press that Barack had decided to run against me. And so we decided that we were going to teach the young man a real lesson. And we did.
In the Democratic primary election, Barack Obama lost badly by a 2-to-1 margin. However, the valuable lessons learned from that defeat would serve him very well in his future run in politics.
When Barack Obama lost his race for Congress, he was very discouraged, and he was giving serious thought to leaving politics.
You say you learned a lot from that race, and that's good, because I think that, I had to learn how to win by first losing.
After suffering a major setback in the 2000 congressional race against Bobby Rush, Barack Obama was not sure about his future in politics.
I remember they said to me, no, I'm not going to do the congressional race again, but I'm really looking at running for the U.S. Senate in 2004.
When we first started running, people were certain that I could not win a statewide race because my name was too funny. People couldn't pronounce it. It looked like Osama. But I always had this faith in the voters and in people. And my attitude was, you know what, if people get to know me, if they know who I am, if I know that I've got a set of shared values with them, it's not going to make a difference. We won 50% of the vote in a 7-person field. I mean, we won not just the black vote, we won the white vote fairly handily.
Following his impressive primary win, Democratic presidential nominee John Kerry took note and invited Obama to give the keynote address at the 2004 Democratic National Convention in Boston.
There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America. There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America. America, tonight, if you feel the same energy that I do, if you feel the same urgency that I do, if you feel the same passion that I do, if you feel the same hopefulness that I do, if we do what we must do, then I have no doubt that all across the country, from Florida to Oregon, from Washington to Maine, the people will rise up and this country will reclaim its promise, and out of this long political darkness, a brighter day will come. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.
On a frigid day in February 2007 in Springfield, Illinois, Barack Obama announced his candidacy for President of the United States.
I stand before you today to announce my candidacy for President of the United States of America.
Well, the primary election was sort of interesting. You knew from the very beginning that it was going to be historical. You had an African American running that seemed to be a little bit different from African Americans who had run before. You had a woman running that seemed a little bit different from the women who had run before. And so the conventional wisdom was that this was going to be a change election.
Look, I'm not running because of long-held ambitions. I'm not running because I think it's my turn. I'm running because of what Dr. King called the fierce urgency of now. The fierce urgency of now.
Throughout that year, the Obama campaign assembled a nationwide network of dedicated volunteers, and they broke fundraising records by mastering the internet. Early on, Obama trailed Senator Hillary Clinton by large margins in national polls and struggled against doubt and criticism.
Early on, supporting Senator Obama was a somewhat lonely position within the Democratic caucus. It was a lonely position within the Congressional Black Caucus. It will probably shock our children and future scholars that the Congressional Black Caucus lagged in support for the first black president of the United States.
But Obama believed that America was ready to support him as the embodiment of the message of hope, unity, and change, especially young people of all races and backgrounds who were his most enthusiastic supporters from the beginning.
Thank you! What up? What up? What's been so inspiring is not just the size of the crowds, but it's something Elijah referred to as the makeup of the crowds, because it's people from all walks of life. You've got candidates who say, well, I know how to play the game in Washington better. But I've got to explain to them, I'm running because I'm going to put an end to the game playing, because the times are too serious and the stakes are too high. We need something new, and that's the reason that I am running for the presidency of the United States of America.
Young volunteers and activists played a key role in the Iowa caucus, the first real test of the campaign.
All the Hawkeyes who are here, thank you.
Barack Obama amazed the political world by winning the Iowa caucus in a state that's 95% white. After that, he silenced many doubters who had to reassess all their previous assumptions about whether America was ready for change.
There was a strategy that was put in place to compete against Hillary Clinton and the Clinton juggernaut. And it was all revolving around Iowa. And one of the things I give Barack real credit for was during the toughest of times when it didn't look like we were maybe going to win, we were falling behind in the polls, Barack helped us stay the course and made all of us believe that the strategy they had put in place was the right one. And it's so easy when things aren't going well to get distracted and get pushed off course. He didn't do that. He kept us really focused on the Iowa strategy. His team stayed focused on that Iowa strategy, and ultimately that prevailed. And I think that was the key to beating this powerful political competitor, the Clinton family.
After Iowa, when he got all those white votes, then you start hearing people say, well, can he win black votes in South Carolina and other places where the black vote would be very, very important? He came into South Carolina with that question mark hanging over his candidacy. And of course, it was emphatically answered.
Once the primary season started, then those who were not with Barack started to realize that their districts were trending overwhelmingly for Barack Obama to be the president. And being elected officials and politicians as we are, they began to realize that perhaps they had picked wrong.
I just knew after South Carolina that he should be on the ticket. It was only after North Carolina, when he ran away with the field, that's when I knew he was going to be the nominee of our party.
We support Barack Obama. Stand
gratitude and great humility, I accept your nomination for presidency of the United States. This moment, this election, is our chance to keep, in the 21st century, the American promise alive. I realize that I am not the likeliest candidate for this office. I don't fit the typical pedigree, and I haven't spent my career in the halls of Washington. But I stand before you tonight because all across America, something is stirring. What the naysayers don't understand is that this election has never been about me. It's about you. "45 years ago today, brought Americans from every corner of this land to stand together on a mall in Washington before Lincoln's memorial and hear a young preacher from Georgia speak of his dream. At this moment, in this election, we must pledge once more to march into the future. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
If you look at the campaign Barack has run, there's a level of organization, passion, and commitment from staff, volunteers on down. Clearly, Barack's ascendancy represents that if you follow your heart, your passion, your intuition, and you still operate on a level of excellence that's unparalleled, anything can happen.
There are at least a couple of things that people can take away from watching me run this campaign. Number one, I'm a pretty good manager. We had to start this organization from scratch, competing against organizations that had been built 20 years ago. And I think it's fair to say that on most of the indicators, how we've raised money, how we've spent money, how we've built an organization, how we've staffed, that we've probably had the best managed campaign in either the Republican or Democratic field. We've really built a bottom-up organization. I mean, our strength has been that we raise our money in $25 and $50 donations from over 1 million donors, using the internet as a way to organize across the country. Our organizations have been built through volunteers, and they're constantly giving us messages and ideas, and that kind of faith in ordinary people and their ability to make a difference and have an impact on government is a principle that I think I want to continue when I'm in the White House.
Barack is a very capable man. He's smart, he has integrity, he's passionate, and he's tough. You've seen in this campaign he has grown. Every day he just gets stronger. He's a long-distance runner.
Let's bring him out right now. The next president of the United States, Barack Obama.
Let me start by noting, Virginia, that this is our last rally. This is the last rally of a campaign that began nearly 2 years ago. We've gone to every corner of this country. You shared your stories of struggle. You've spoken of your dreams. In the places I've gone and the people I've met, I've been struck again and again by the fundamental decency and generosity and dignity of men and women who work hard without complaint to meet their responsibilities every day. I've come away with an unyielding belief that if we only had a government that was as responsible as all of you, as compassionate as the American people, then there's no obstacle we can't overcome. There's no destiny we cannot fulfill. So, Virginia, I just have one word for you. Just one word: tomorrow. Tomorrow. After decades of broken politics in Washington, 8 years of failed policies from George Bush, 21 months of campaigning, we are less than 1 day away from bringing about change in America. So I've just got one question for you, Virginia. Are you fired up? Are you ready to go? Fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? Ready to go? Virginia, let's go change the world. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
After 8 years of George W. Bush, looking at John McCain, there was no way in the world Democrats were going to not unite behind Obama.
We will always remember where we were when Barack Obama became president of the United States.
Look at this crowd. This is the best of American patriotism.
My grandmother is 96 years old, and she never would have thought it. My mother is 67 years old, and she said in her lifetime she never thought it would happen.
If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer. It's been a long time coming, but tonight, because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, change has come to America. This is our moment. This is our time to put our people back to work and open doors of opportunity for our kids, to restore prosperity and promote the cause of peace, to reclaim the American dream and reaffirm that fundamental truth that out of many we are one, that while we breathe, we hope, and where we are met with cynicism and doubt and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America.
But we are strong. We'll carry on. Can't you see? Can't you see? Just hold on. Sing along. Faithfully. Do you believe in happiness? I am here to make you see. Love is here for you. Do you believe in miracles? Together we can change the world. Desperate measures, troubled times. The hero takes the fall. Evil in the hearts of man, backs against the wall. But we are strong. We'll carry on. Can't you see? Can't you see? Just hold on. Sing along. Faithfully. Do you believe in miracles? I am here to make you see. Love is here for you
What an exciting and historic day in January 2009. when Barack Obama was sworn in as the 44th President of the United States. Millions attended and billions watched the inauguration of President Obama. It was a day filled with inspiration, emotion, and hope for a better future for America and the world.
I just wonder exactly what hit his mind when he hit that threshold. The flags waving, the roar. I mean, you know, that moment had to be just an amazing view for him.
Treaties of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
My fellow citizens, I stand here today humbled by the task before us, grateful for the trust you've bestowed, mindful of the sacrifices borne by our ancestors. Every so often, the oath is taken amidst gathering clouds and raging storms. At these moments, America has carried on not simply because of the skill or vision of those in high office, but because we, the people, have remained faithful to the ideals of our forebears and true to our founding documents. So it has been, so it must be with this generation of Americans.
Here on the National Mall, where we remember the founders of our nation and those who fought to make it free, we gather to etch another line in the solid stone of history.
Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to thee, O God, and true to our native land. We pray now, O Lord, for your blessing upon thy servant, Barack Obama, the 44th President of these United States, his family, and his administration.
Today, I say to you that the challenges we face are real. They are serious and they are many. They will not be met easily or in a short span of time. But know this, America, they will be met. On this day, we gather because we have chosen hope over fear, unity of purpose over conflict and discord. On this day, we come to proclaim an end to the petty grievances and false promises, the recriminations and worn-out dogmas that for far too long have strangled our politics. We remain a young nation, but in the words of Scripture, the time has come to set aside childish things. The time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit, to choose our better history, to carry forward that precious gift, that noble idea passed on from generation to generation, the God-given promise that all are equal, all are free, and all deserve a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness.
He is truly, I think, the first American president, I don't know how long, who truly has, on the first day he comes in, international standing. Obviously, Michelle Obama, that must be a seriously warm outfit.
Starting today, we must pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and begin again the work of remaking America. Let it be said by our children's children that when we were tested, we refused to let this journey end, that we did not turn back, nor did we falter. And with eyes fixed on the horizon and God's grace upon us, we carried forth that great gift of freedom and delivered it safely to future generations. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
During the course of this historic presidential campaign, the nation has watched Barack Obama and come to know him as a person, a candidate, and now as President of the United States. His story is an American story. It's a story of character, integrity, perseverance, and achievement. I'm Roland Martin. Thanks for watching Believe, the Barack Obama Story.